your business cards back there on the table.
Okay. You're amazing.
Oh,
I'm a hugger.
thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
I said, I wonder if that was
Thank you. Get it? It's good to see you. Oh, sorry. You want me?
You know what
Take those.
Richard Dyson had the women's club.
All the presentations. Sure.
I'm gonna have to stand here. Oh, would you make sure those get passed around?
I was looking for them.
All you need to do is I'll shoot a few. All you need to do is hit this.
Okay, the shutter. It's autofocus.
Yeah. Well, you see what the green is there?
Yes.
You focus it.
Right there on whatever you're.
Whatever the green is on, that's where it's supposed to
And does it like do something to say I focus now, or does it do
be.
fast?
You just hold it down halfway, and then you can bring
The shutter. You want me to zoom up close for some of these
rather
presentations?
just the view.
Okay. Okay. So she said just when they do the presentations.
No, this is just when our field discussion is. I'll shoot the.
Oh, good. Okay. I'll do this after we.
Where are you going to hang out?
Probably just over here. I hand out the sign-up sheets. No, hello, Jackie. No, can I put it down for you, or? I'll just put it over here. Okay, so are you living down here, or living up north then, or?
No, I'm still in South Stuart.
No, because of that picture, it looked like you were working up and living up there then?
Well,
Or?
I was working up in North Carolina for a couple months.
Oh, is that it? Okay, but you're back. Okay, that's a good thing.
My buddy was starting at the RV park.
Oh, an RV park up there. Oh, beautiful.
Mountain Ridge.
Okay, oh, gorgeous.
Yeah, he's got 2 houses for rent, RV
Okay.
slides.
Are you going to be kind of bopping back and forth then, or?
We'll see.
Okay.
See how
Good. Okay. I was afraid we'd lost you.
no, not gonna be. Just fine.
Good. Good. It always reminded me of that Monty Python sketch whenever I think it was Life of Brian, and they were all
It's lighter than it was. Here, here.
Ladies and gentlemen, we can get closer to coming in, have a seat, and we'll get the meeting started. Thanks for weathering the storm and all the issues that are going on. Hopefully this boundary will get through pretty quick. By the end of the meeting, it'll be clearing up and getting cooler. So it's good that you're here today. We got a great meeting set up. We're going to be talking about the history of the Rivers Coalition. We've got some dignitary attendees here with us today. Kevin Henderson's up here, Leon Abood, and we're expecting Bud Jordan and Larry Prairie soon here too to talk about some history. So it's going to be a really great meeting. And if you haven't looked over here, if you can't during this time, please do that during the meeting or after the meeting. Look at all the historical paraphernalia which we're going to be talking about too, because over 20 years of organization here is quite exciting, really is. And I want to get us started. I know we've got a little bit to cover. There's an agenda been printed, put in the seats. We're going to kind of stick to that. We always try to stick to a time frame to get out of here by 12:30 at the latest. And with a lot to cover, sometimes presentations with questions and answers, that always takes a long time. Right at the top, so after I'm called to order, I'm acting as chairman at this meeting, and we're going to talk about some of the organizational efforts, but the current issues, kind of current action plans that are going on. So we should do those. We always remind of that. Thank you. Let's all stand and join me in the pledge of allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We see this great country we live in. Talk about that. Current legislation, the lowers, the Lake Okeechobee regulation schedule, and water districts, and Governor DeSantis. Those are four big topics and things, and I'm not going to cover them in too much detail other than there is a lot going on. And last week or so, Governor DeSantis was inaugurated on January 8th. He immediately took some action on that Thursday, the 10th, and he actually was over in Bonita Springs and Sarasota, and then came over here to Flagler Park. He was right here at the St. Lucie Center, right here on Flagler, and made some really specific announcements. And part of those, and I'll get this posted on our website, there were two basic areas he covered. One was water policy reforms, and the other was the governing board of the water district. And you go to these websites, and we'll post it up there if you go to his website. On the water policy reform, he made those four kind of major provisions, and I won't read all the detail, but they're basically $2.5 billion over the next 4 years for Everglades restoration and the protection of our water resources. Establishing the Blue-Green Algae Task Force, establishing the fact that the water district needs to get on the next phase of the Everglades Agricultural Storage Reservoir Project in cooperation with the Corps of Engineers. Number 3 was Office of Environmental Accountability and Transparency, setting up an office under the governor's office for environmental accountability and transparency. Think of that. And then the last was establishing a chief science officer for the state of Florida. And that hadn't been done for decades ago. We used to have a chief science officer. So all of these initiatives are really exciting. The second time initiative we did, of course, was to come here and ask for the resignation of all 9 members of the governing board of South Florida. Leon says I almost cried. That's a great Here's the letter that he sent to the governing board, and I won't read the entire letter, only it's 3 paragraphs, but what's key is that today he said I issued to all the governing board, today I issued an executive order outlining bold visions for environmental protection and water quality. Everglades restoration is the centerpiece of our strategy to improve our water, and actions of the South Florida Water Management District are incredibly important in aiding the success of that strategy. I thank you for your service to the state of Florida, but it is time for a clean reset of leadership of the board to focus the appropriate attention on this bold vision. Therefore, I ask that each of you tender your resignation from the board effective immediately. The voters are clearly in support of the bold vision for action on the environment. I look forward to reconstituting the board of the South Florida Water Management District with a dedicated focus toward implementing the objectives we have laid out today. People of Florida deserve nothing more. Whether you voted for this governor or not, I think it's time we get behind some of these initiatives and help support that. And it takes that leadership that we really need to go forward. The leadership in Congress is also there. I encourage you to get involved with looking at the congressional leadership. Our representative from this district, Brian Mass, has been reelected, but there are other representatives new to the Florida delegation. It's our job in Tallahassee and in Congress to go up there and make sure that we all contact them individually as organizations, but also collectively as the coalition. And we've done this through a series of resolutions, and I've got two of our resolutions in the back from our organization, Florida Oceanographic. One is on the TMDL and BMAP, and the other is on the Lake Okeechobee regulation schedule. And we are strong about that regulation schedule. That was the other item I wanted to just briefly cover before we get into the rest of the agenda. There is a handout back there too that looks like this from the Army Corps of Engineers and the Water District. This one you can't have because I've highlighted now I did it, but basically it's about the Lake Okeechobee regulation schedule. As you know, LORS, the Lake Okeechobee schedule is designated as 2008, and now it's supposed to be an interim schedule. Here it is, 10 years later, we're still scheduled. So they've been pushed and pressured to say, revise that schedule. We've got enough of the Hoover Dike completed as of 2022, so they're going to implement a new schedule. What they do to start that process is outlined in this handout, and basically there are 6. Bud Jordan, come in. Great, Bud. Come on up to the front. So the lore schedule is outlined on the back and everything, and I encourage you to take part and get that handout. Basically, there are 6 meetings that are coming up in this month, in February. And I'll read them off, but they're starting February 5th in Fort Myers, on the 6th in Okeechobee, on the 11th in Hewlett, on the 19th, February 19th, is here in Stuart, Florida at the IRSC, University State College campus in Salerno Road at 1 p.m. and at 6 p.m. There are 2 identical meetings, but these are the scoping meetings that the core of the district are doing around the state to make sure when you get your input, and we all get our input. And they've told me at the Everglades Coalition this past week or so that if you're not at the table and talking about what issues you want to see in the new schedule, then they're not going to take that input back in the revision. So we all need to voice that up pretty strongly. On Monday, they'll be publishing, but on Monday, they'll be publishing this new, basically this new website that's on there too, so you can go to that website and get more information. Pretty much, I've pretty much caught up to those kind of couple of ideas.
Oh, Alex.
Yes.
I'm sorry, could you repeat what the meeting is here?
Oh, yes, it's on February 19th.
Thank you.
February 19th, that's 1 p.m. and 6 p.m.
Thank you.
And they're 2 identical meetings, so if you can't make the afternoon, of course, go to the evening. And they're doing that at each of those locations. 2 more locations, one on the 27th is in West Palm Beach at the district office, and on the 28th in Miami-Dade. So those are the 6 scoping meetings. Alex,
Hey guys, to follow up to Mark's point, we've been talking with the Corps and experts on the NEPA scoping process. The main point of the NEPA scoping process is to consider how this federal agency action impacts the human environment, right? So it's a very broad consideration they're doing, and we need a wide representation. We need realtors and students and waiters and lawyers and bankers. So we're going to have a game planning session, Bull Sugar, with members of the community to try to explain more and go into more detail. If you're not on our email list, that's how we'll contact you. But we really need to, as a community, ask them to consider a broad range of things so that when they put this schedule together, we're on the record.
Thank you, Alex. Yeah, in reference to that, at the bottom right corner, you'll see a box that they've outlined actually on the handout. It says health and safety first, which is an interesting box because they start to hear the message of health and safety. And what that kind of points out, their health and safety and public safety is in discussion with them is talking about flood control and not being flooded. So public health to them means not being flooded. We need to expand that as there are a couple of legislation that are going forward, which we kind of collectively support is going, let's put public health more than just flood control. Let's talk about toxic algae and other things that are being released with these pollutants that are coming into our estuaries. So it's all about fighting for the river, folks, and that's our mission. At the top of the statement, I hope everybody reads this mission over and over again, and it's to really fight for the safety, healthy, and ecologically balanced St. Lucie River, estuary, and Indian River lagoon natural resources that are vital to the economy and quality of life of Martin County and the Prairie States. This mission statement was established many years ago by the Rivers Coalition when we first formed, and we're going to hear about that history. Before I leave, I'll talk about the kind of reestablishment, which is on the agenda, about the restated articles and bylaws and declaration. Y'all have a letter here that I sent out to the coalition members, 105 members. Basically, we met with the Rivers Coalition Defense Fund, which was established in 2005, and we've kind of merged that incorporation into us as a whole body called the Rivers Coalition Incorporated. So we're now an entire body, and we elected our board of directors, and these are the board, and they got me down as president, so I guess I have to serve. So, hey, little music there. So, anyway, all right, that's your cell. Somebody's cell phone. So we'll put all the contact information.
$10.
$50 fine.
That's starting out. Master Lawrence is back. 20.
Master Lawrence, $50 fine. So we'll also put out a list of members, all of our member organizations, and we have a few coming, it seems like every meeting somebody's joining. Now we're 105 members. We're going to be putting out this list and also a kind of a detailed list of the contact information, so we know who is the delegate, who's the alternate, and your contact information for that organization. We'll do that periodically because we really need to know how to make sure we got everybody on our mailings. Barbara?
The next meeting, I will have spreadsheet of a master list of our members. I'd like to pass it around, and you can make any corrections as to who the new people are, any corrections to addresses or emails or phone numbers.
And we'll do that annually at least, or more often. So our new bylaws, articles of incorporation will also be posted as PDFs on our site. So it's all about transparent and good. Larry Crary, who is hopefully on his way too, is an attorney in town, with Perry Buchanan, and has been a long time dedicated. In fact, he's the original registered agent for the Rivers Coalition. And so we're excited if he can show up today too. But I'm going to turn it over to our special presentation to Daryl.
Hello, everybody. Before we get started, I just wanted to point out that we lost another member of our board of directors just before the first of the year, Ted Guy, who was treasurer, board member for many years. So just a few minutes, just a few seconds of silence for him, and thank you. Before we get started, I think in the past, I have done a lot of show and tell with little jewels that I have. A lot of it came from this briefcase here, okay? Which Kevin is going to present to the museum down the road. Is that true, Kevin? Okay, but inside of this is all kinds of tidbits from the Rivers League. Okay, the Rivers League started in 1950s, I believe. 52, okay. And then Bud Jordan, a while back, gave me his notebook with all of his notes and clippings. I would like to open this up because sometimes I have to be careful. You never know what's going to fly I mean, this is like, these are the original papers from, these are the original papers from Stuart News in 1961. There's also some Army Corps of Engineer maps in here.
Some money you can get there.
So I have to let it air out every once in a while, but Kevin is gonna be the keeper and get it to the right place. Before and also, we do have some of the newer products. We do have our ads from a couple years ago, Countering Sugar's ad. We've got workbooks that we've produced with River Kids. We've got some of the projects that Carl Wickstrom produced for us with Plan 6.
And you can get copies all in the back
We have in the
table.
back, we've got lots of clippings over here on the side, and these gentlemen, I know Leon has got a short schedule, so if you see him slip out, he's working for a living. I just want to briefly touch, we have a bad microphone here. I briefly want to touch on some of the history, and a lot of this came off of Bud Jordan's articles that he wrote years ago for, and Kevin, both of you did it for the Stuart News. I just want to go over one paragraph or two. It says here, the St. Lucie River was a freshwater river emptying into the brackish Indian River Lagoon before the first permanent inlet was opened by local businessmen in 1898. They wanted a more direct route to the ocean and coastal trade than those offered by a few natural inlets to the north and south along the east coast of Florida. Okay, we can, if any of you, hopefully a lot of you caught the movie on PBS, The Swamp. It is excellent. And if you didn't catch it, you can live stream it on PBS. The local, back in 1950, the River League started with local businessmen to fight the damages being done by these canals to the river, primarily the large dumps from Lake Okeechobee via the C-44. The St. Lucie River Initiative was formed in 1991 by local businessmen again, frustrated because of the river continued to decline in environmental health. This despite 21 different agencies and governments with responsibility for its health, innumerable environmental rules and regulations, and environmentalist leaders in Martin County were proclaiming the river was part of our good nature. Sounds familiar, doesn't it? The SLRI founders were accustomed to obtaining results. First scientific data were collected, evaluated. The SLRI had a great advantage over our predecessors in the River League. Then, I'm going to jump ahead here because I know some people are short on time. The Ooze News was produced, which was beginning of the Rivers Coalition, and that was in 1998. Okay, and here we are today. By the way, this report and all of our history is all available on our website. You just need to go to information, and there's a way to scroll down. We do have all of it in PDF and Word doc format. So, getting started here. First wanted to introduce, in no particular order, actually I'm going to start with Leon. Leon is RCF, is that what it is? SRC, hold on a second. There is a special title. I know. It is called Certified Residential Specialist. Okay, with Premier Realty. And
CRS, huh? Can't remember.
Leon actually, Leon single-handedly ran the Rivers Coalition in RCDF for 17 years, 18 years, somewhere in there. So we got the and then next to Leon is Kevin Henderson, who runs Evergreen Engineering. And he was one of the principals with the St. Lucie River Initiative. And next to him on his left is Mr. Bud Jordan, who is in the financial assistance business with his own firm, connected with Merrill Lynch, correct? So I would like, just in a synopsis form, some of the highlights and and all of the enjoyment you got out of running this organization. If you could just kind of, just give us your short list of what you felt you accomplished and where you see us going in the future with the future of our river kids. I'll start with Leon.
Want me to start? Sure. Okay. Hello, everybody. Remember me?
Yeah, take the mic.
Take the mic. You remember me?
Yeah.
I just made some notes here. I just wanted to go over a few things, and I'm quite honored to be with Kevin and Bud. These guys were pioneers, and they laid a real good groundwork. And actually, as you when I go through the notes, the St. Lucie River Initiative was one of the founding members of the Rivers Coalition. The Rivers Coalition formed in 1998. Henry Camato of the Snook Nook, you guys all know Henry. Henry was really the catalyst behind all this. He was like a gnat. He was calling me up. What are you going to do? What are you going to do to help us? What are you going to do to help us? So in 1998, we were experiencing discharges, pretty aggressive discharges, very similar to what we've been getting lately. However, there wasn't the nutrients that were loaded in the system then as there were now. But at any rate, that's what we were having. It was due to a very severe El Nino event. So the realtors formed what was called the El Nino Task Force, and the realtors, we went out into the community, did a lot of research, and then we called a roundtable meeting at the Realtor Association in 1998. Out of that meeting, the Rivers Coalition was born, and the first organizational document named me as chairman of the organization, because nobody else wanted the job. So, the founding members, just so you know, the founding members were the St. Lucie River Initiative. Bud and Kevin were both in the room at the time. The realtors, the Martin County Chamber of Commerce, Joe Cantrabone. Is anybody here from the chamber? The Treasure Coast Builders Association was one of the founding members. Anybody here from the TCBA? Martin County Conservation Alliance, which is since not disbanded.